This topic is Lorentz force or electromagnetic force. When a charged particle of charge q mass m enters into a magnetic field either perpendicular to the magnetic field or parallel to the magnetic field or at an angle to the magnetic field. So when the charged particle moves along the line, along the field, it moves in a straight line. We discussed this. If it enters perpendicular to this one, it moves in a circular path, and if it enters into magnetic field angle, it moves in a helical path. So this is only in the presence of magnetic field. Let us say if a charged particle of mass m charge q enters into a crossed fields or fields, both electric and magnetic fields. So what about the nature of the path followed by that charged particle? Now here the total force experienced by a charged particle in the presence of both electric and magnetic fields is known as electromagnetic force, or simply as it is described by scientist Lorentz, we call it as Lorentz force. So F Lorentz is equal to F electric plus F magnetic. So what is the electric force of a charged particle? Here we know this is equal to QE bar plus what is the magnetic force? Q into V bar cross B bar. So if you take a Q common, you can write this as the sum of electric field plus the product of velocity of the charged particle into magnetic field. So this is called a Lorentz force equation. Now we have different cases when a charged particle enters into a magnetic field. Why? Because see, if it is the electric field and if it is the magnetic field, if a charge is placed here, what happens? If it is the electric field and if it is the magnetic field, if a charge is placed here, what happens? So we are going to discuss different cases in case of this Lorentz force. The case 1, if V bar, E bar, P bar are collinear or acting in the same direction. Here, this is the electric field here. This is E bar and this is the magnetic field here. This is B bar. Let us say a charged particle of charge Q mass m entering into these combined fields with a velocity V0. Then what happens? So first of all, let me find out the electric force experienced by this charged particle. F electric is given by EQ. So this is in the direction of the electric field only. So this charged particle entering into this combined field along this direction, that is along x-axis. So it will continue in the same direction. Why? Because the direction of the force is the direction of the electric field. So it will experience force in this direction. So this must be equal to the mass of the charged particle into acceleration. So what is the acceleration here? E bar Q by m. So this is acceleration in the direction of electric field. So AX is equal to EQ by m. That means the initial velocity here is, given as V0. Acceleration is equal to EQ by m. So due to this, after some time, the velocity will change. So when the velocity changes, momentum changes. Due to this, kinetic energy also changes. So what are the quantities that will change here? The velocity V bar increases. The speed will increase. The acceleration is constant. The momentum of the particle will increase. as a result the kinetic energy also increases. But what about this magnetic force here? The magnetic force is given by, this is BQV sin theta is the formula. So the velocity and B are here. Velocity and magnetic field are parallel to each other. If they are parallel, VB sin 0 will become 0. So this will become BV sin 0. So this is BQV, this is 0. So this is 0. So the particle will not experience any magnetic force. So what is the Lorentz force in this case? Lorentz force is given by only EQ. Why? Because this product is 0 here. So due to the magnetic force, it will not experience any magnetic field, it will not experience any force, it will not get any acceleration here due to the magnetic field. So that's why whether it is velocity or speed or momentum or kinetic energy, all are increasing because of the electric force experienced by this charged particle. So this is case 1. So it continue in a straight line only. So conclusion is charged particle continue its motion along a straight line with the increased velocity or increased speed or increased momentum or increased kinetic energy. Now in the second case, let us say V bar, E bar, B bar mutually perpendicular to each other. So I am going to denote this electric field with a red color. So let us say this is electric field. E bar. Let us say magnetic field with the blue. So it is into the board. So this is the magnetic field. Here electric field and magnetic field are mutually perpendicular to each other. Now let us say one charged particle is entering into this one, that is also perpendicular to both electric and magnetic fields. So here I am denoting this charge as, this is the direction of velocity of the charge and the charge is Q, mass is M. So what are the forces experienced by the charged particle when it is entering perpendicular to both electric and magnetic fields? So first let me find out the electric force here. F electric is given by EQ. So direction of E is along x-axis. So here I can write E is equal to E naught I cap, that represents electric field is along x-axis, and magnetic field B bar is equal to B naught. This is into the board. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, this is positive z-axis, but this is negative z-axis. So minus K cap, and velocity is given by V naught minus J cap, because it is entering into the combined region perpendicular to this one along negative z-axis, so minus J cap. Now what is the electric force? Whenever a charge enters here, it will experience a force in the direction of the electric field, so it will try to move towards right. So this can be given as E is equal to E naught magnitude charge Q, and its direction is along x-axis. So electric force will act in the direction of electric field. So I am going to denote this as I cap. So this is I cap. So electric force is acting towards x-axis. Now what is the magnetic force now? The magnetic force is given by F magnetic is given by BQV sin theta. B is into the board. Now let me substitute this charged particle, but let me apply Fleming's left hand rule here. Field is into the board, charge is coming down, so now it will try to move in this direction. So magnetic force also acting in the same direction. So this will be B into the board, charge entering here. This is the direction of the magnetic field. So this is given by BQV sin 90, which is equal to BQV. So what is the direction of this one? Direction of this one is along x-axis only, so I cap. So what is the Lorentz force in this case? The Lorentz force in this case is given by F Lorentz is given by electric force plus magnetic force. So what is this electric force? This is E naught Q. What is magnetic force? BQV. Now let me substitute these two values. This will be E naught Q plus BQV. So both are acting in along I axis, that is x axis, I cap, or you can take a Q common. This is E naught plus V bar cross B bar. This is the expression which is acting along x axis. Now if the charge direction is changed, instead of top here, this is acting towards right, along x axis means towards right. This is also towards right in the diagram. Both electric and magnetic force are acting in the same direction in this case. Suppose if charged particle enters like this, then it will experience a force, electric force towards right, and due to this it will experience a force towards left. Magnetic force will be towards left. So in that case, what will be the magnetic force here? Instead of this, so for the same diagram, I am just changing the direction of the charge. So this is the electric field, and the magnetic field is acting into the board only. So in this case, let us say charged particle enters from here of charge Q mass m with a velocity v naught. So in this case, what is the direction of the electric field? So the charge will experience a force in the direction of the electric field in this direction. So electric force is given by, in this case, F electric is given by E naught Q along x axis. What is the magnetic force? Field is into the board, charge is moving upwards. The magnetic force will be in this direction. So the magnetic force is given by B naught QV, that is minus I cap. Now you can see these two fields are acting in opposite direction. Let us say if the electric force as well as magnetic force are equal in magnitude, that is the another case here. If F electric is equal to F magnetic, that means if their magnitudes are equal, so in this case electric force is E naught Q, magnetic force is equal to B naught QV, cancel. So the velocity of this charged particle, generally we denote this as V naught only because V naught is given. E is given by E naught by B naught. That means the velocity with which the charged particles enters into this combined field will be V naught only, the magnitude will not change, and as these two are equal, it will continue in the same direction with the same velocity. So the direction as well as the magnitude of velocity remains constant if these two are equal. If they are unequal, then we can write E naught Q minus B naught Q V naught. But if they are equal, this minus this will become 0, net force will be 0. So in this case, if these two are equal, Lorentz force will be 0 in this case. Lorentz force 0, due to this acceleration is 0. That means there is no acceleration, means direction as well as velocity of the magnitude of the velocity remains same. So here it moves in straight line with the same velocity and same direction. So velocity, direction as well as magnitude will not change if you keep this electric force and magnetic force are equal. For this I need to adjust the magnitude of magnetic field induction or strength of the electric field so that these two values should become equal and it continues with the same velocity. Based on this one, we are using this same concept in finding specific charge of electron and already used by J.J. Thomson, and velocity selector as well as mass spectrometer in Hall's effect and including this cyclotron. The third case, when electric field is parallel to magnetic field and charge particle enters into the combined field perpendicularly. Here red color one, B is equal to B naught, and it is acting into the board. So remember, this is z-axis. Into the board means minus z-axis. So minus k cap, and electric field also acting into the board only, but it is represented with blue color. So here this is B bar and E bar is given by E naught minus k cap. Remember, both are acting in the same direction, and this is E bar and this is B bar. This is B bar. So both are acting into the board, that is along positive z-axis. Now a charged particle of charge q mass m enters into this combined field with initial velocity v0 from the origin. So what is the direction of the electric force here? What is the magnitude of the magnetic force here? And what are the directions of these two forces? First, let me find out the magnetic force experienced by the charged particle when enters into the magnetic field at a velocity v0 from origin. So here B is into this one, charge is entering like this, it will extend a force in the vertically upward direction. So this is given by BQV sine 90. So F magnetic is given by BQV, that is along positive y-axis. So this can be written as J cap. So this is BQV equation 1. Now, what is the direction of the magnetic force here? The magnetic force direction is along positive y-axis. What is the magnitude of the electric force here? The magnitude of the electric force is given by F electric is given by E naught Q. Here also you can write as the magnitude is given as B naught. So or you can write a B naught here. So this is B naught and B naught. This is E naught Q. But as the electric field also acting along negative z-axis, this particle will experience a force towards negative z-axis only. So this must be equal to AMA. So this is the acceleration acquired by the charged particle due to the electric force. So what is the direction of this electric force? As this charged particle is experiencing charge along negative z-axis, this is also the acceleration along negative z-axis. So here I am going to write AZ, because acceleration in the negative z direction, which is given by E naught Q by M, and its direction is along negative z axis, that is minus K cap. So conclusion is charged particle experience electric force along negative z axis and its acceleration is also along negative z axis. So this is AZ is in the direction of minus K. Type 4. Velocity along x axis is given, z axis is given by, so I am going to write here Vz. In the direction of this one, Vz is given by U plus AT, that is Uz plus AT. So Vz is given by, actually initial velocity is along x axis, no initial velocity along z axis, so this will become 0 plus the acceleration is UQ E naught Q by M minus K. So I am going to write minus E naught Q by M into time t, and the direction of this one is along negative z axis. Already I wrote minus here, so K cap. So this is the velocity along negative z axis due to electric force. But whenever a charged particle enters into a magnetic field, the field is into the board and it is the charge, and you will experience a force in this direction. So what will be the direction of the motion of the charged particle due to magnetic field? So it will be in a circular path here, because whenever velocity is perpendicular to the magnetic field, it moves in a circular path. So this is the direction of the velocity or the circular path of the charged particle due to magnetic field. So here at a particular point, let me take this point. Here if you want to find out the direction of the velocity, so this is the tangent, this is the velocity. And now let us say it describes a circular path of radius r here. This is the circular path radius r, and here it describes the angle theta within a given time. So from here to here the angular displacement is theta. So now you can resolve this into two components. This is velocity at a given time t, and if it is theta, this is theta, 90 minus theta, this will become theta. So what are the velocities in this direction? This velocity is v, this velocity will be v cos theta, this velocity is v sin theta. The initial velocity is given as v naught. So here also velocity remains as v naught, only the magnitude, but the direction changes. So I am going to write this one. So what is the velocity of this charged particle after a time t here? So velocity of the charged particle after a time t is given by Vx I cap plus Vy j cap plus Vz k cap, because it has not only velocity in two different directions. This Vx and Vy due to magnetic field and Vz is due to electric field. So this is Vz here. So Vz is given by minus E naught q by m into t k cap. So this is the velocity along z axis due to electric field, and velocity due to magnetic field is this is v naught, because the direction will change but magnitude will not change. At this point, what is the magnitude of the velocity along x axis and y axis? V naught cos theta, V naught sin theta. So what is Vx? Vx is nothing but V naught cos theta. So this is V naught cos theta I cap, V naught sin theta j cap plus Vz k cap. So now substitute the values here. V naught. What is cos theta? The angle made by this radius vector at the center is theta. If the angular velocity of this is omega, we can write theta is equal to omega t. So in place of theta, we can write omega t. So we can write this as cos theta is omega t I cap. So this is V naught sin omega t j cap, and this is minus E naught q by m, E naught q by m t into this is minus. Now these vectors are, this is I cap, this is along x axis, this is along y axis, this is along z axis. Now from this, let me substitute this omega here, because omega is given by velocity into time, theta is omega t. Now this omega is given by, what is omega? Whenever a charged particle moves in a circular path, the time period is given by 2 pi m by bq, which is equal to 1 by f. So this is also equal to omega 2 pi by f. So from this omega can be written as, from this you can cancel 2 to bq by m. So angular velocity of the charged particle in the magnetic field of charge q mass m is going to be bq by m. Now we can substitute that value. So this is v naught cos bq by m into t plus v naught sin bq by m into t minus E naught q by m into t, and the vectors are, this is along positive x axis, this is along positive y axis, this is along positive z axis. So this is the velocity along at any time when the charged particle is moving along this x axis here, when the fields both electric and magnetic fields are acting perpendicular to this one. Remember students, when it is moving like this, so the charged particle will experience a force, that is a velocity along z axis due to electric force. Due to this, charged particle will try to move along negative z axis, but the particle will experience a force in this direction. In each and every time magnetic force direction will change. Due to this, it will have some velocity. The attained velocity can be written in terms of V naught cos theta, V naught sin theta. Now the same diagram, suppose if you draw, if you consider this magnetic field, it is already acting along negative z axis. So here I am going to take the negative z axis like this. This is the negative z axis. So this is the magnetic field, and electric field is also acting in the same direction. So let us say this is the electric field here in this direction, E bar, this is B bar. Now a charged particle enters into this one. This is x axis, this is y axis. Generally this is a positive z axis, but I am taking this negative z axis. So and this is, let us say, z axis, and this is negative z axis. So in this case, this is minus z. When a charged particle enters along positive x axis, here it is entering like this, positive x axis. Here what happens? It will experience an acceleration due to electric field along negative z axis. At the same time, always the charged particle moves in a circular path due to magnetic field perpendicular to that plane in which the field is acting. So this is the z axis. So the charged particle will move in a circular path in a xy plane. So it will move in xy plane like this. But at the same time, as it is experiencing some electric force in this direction, it will have acceleration. Slowly here what happens? The helical path will increase like this. Remember, in the previous case, the pitch was constant. So this is the pitch 1 and this is the pitch 2. Here pitch is not constant. Why pitch is not constant? In the previous case, if when the only magnetic field is acting and the charge enters into a magnetic field at an angle theta, it will describe a helical path of equal pitch. But here the pitch is different. So this is P1, this is P2. So charged particle moves in a helical path, with the increasing pitch along z axis, negative z axis, increasing pitch along negative z axis. Case 4, electric field perpendicular to magnetic field and charged particle is released from the rest from origin. So the charged particle having a charge q mass m is released here, charge q mass m. Whenever a charge is released from rest, we can write the initial velocity can be taken as 0. And what is the direction of the electric force and magnetic force here? So first let me find out. This is the z axis, this is the x axis, this is the y axis. So from this first we can write the electric field is acting along x axis, the magnetic field is acting along y axis. So electric field E bar is given by E naught into I cap, and the magnetic field is given by B bar is equal to B naught into J cap, and the velocity of the charged particle, the initial velocity V naught is equal to 0 as it is released from rest. So now, what is the direction of the electric force experienced by the charged particle when it is placed at this origin? We know that as it is a positive charge always try to move in the direction of the electric field. So I am going to write this electric force as electric force F electric is given by E naught Q and its direction is along x axis. So I can write this as E naught Q I cap. Similarly, the magnetic force experienced by this charged particle is given by here. Initially it will not experience any magnetic force. As it acquires some velocity, now the field is magnetic force is acting like this magnetic field, charge is moving like this. Now it will try to move in xz plane. So the magnetic force is given by F magnetic is equal to B naught QV, and that is along generally if the velocity is in this direction, first it will experience a force in a z direction, that is K cap initially. So this is initial magnetic force. Now what is the velocity of this one? In both cases, due to electric force it will have this much force and the velocity will be along x axis only, and due to magnetic force it will try to move only in the xz plane. That means due to magnetic force, charge moves, charge rotates in a circular path in xz plane. Always the plane of the circular path is perpendicular to magnetic field. So this is in xz plane. So after this, here I am going to write what is the velocity at any instant of time, because in this case the particle will have either velocity along x axis or z axis only. particle velocity along y-axis at any time will become 0. So velocity at any time is given by, here I am writing velocity at any time in this case. So Vt is given by velocity along x-axis I cap, velocity along z-axis k cap. So this is the expression. Now after this, what is the force experienced by this one? Total net force, this plus this. So what is the acceleration of this charged particle? The acceleration is given by A bar is equal net to Lorentz force experienced this charged particle. We call it as Lorentz force by mass of the charged particle is given as m. So here what is the net force experienced this one? So this plus this. So I am going to write the first electric force. This is Q E naught along x-axis plus what is the magnetic force? Magnetic field into charge into velocity. So charge Q into what is the velocity? Velocity is not constant here. Why? Because whenever that magnetic electric force is acting in this direction, charged particle will move along this direction of force like this. So when it comes like this, once again force will change. Direction of velocity will be only in xz plane. So in place of this V, I am going to write Vx I cap plus Vz k cap. This is the velocity into, because this is V cross B, this is V cross B. So this is the velocity. And what is the magnetic field here? Magnetic field is along z-axis. So I can write this as B naught j cap. So this is the expression by divided by m here. This is the mass. Now, so what is A bar? A bar is given by, now I can substitute these values. This will be Q E naught I cap plus Q into this plus this, that is Vx cross B naught, and the product is I cross J. This is I cross J plus this is Vz into B naught, Vz into B naught, K cross J divided by m. This is the acceleration of this one. So the acceleration of this charged particle is given by the net force. You can see I cross J is equal to K cap here. K cross J is equal to minus I cap here. So directly you can write Q E naught plus this one, because this is also acting along x-axis. This is also acting along x-axis. So I can write this as A bar is equal to Q E naught along x-axis. This is minus, so I am going to write minus Vz B naught, Vz B naught along x-axis. This is the force acting along x-axis, and remaining force which is acting along z-axis K is Q Vx B naught plus Q Vx B naught into this is K cap by m. But this as this is having acceleration velocity along x-axis and z-axis, acceleration also acts only along x-axis and z-axis. So this you can write A bar can be written as Ax I cap plus Az k cap only. So this must be equal to this. This is along x-axis, this is acceleration along z-axis. So based on this one we can write from this equation what is the acceleration along x-axis for this charged particle. You can compare these two. Acceleration is this by mass. So I am going to write Q E naught minus Vz B naught by m into I cap. This is the acceleration of the charged particle along x-axis. So what is the acceleration of the charged particle along z-axis? So this is the only component of force which is acting along z-axis, which is given by Q into Vx B naught by m, which is along z-axis. So these are the two equations of acceleration. If you take this first equation, so I will take this as equation 1 and this is equation 2. In the first equation, Ax is nothing but rate of change of velocity along x-axis. So I am going to take Ax bar is equal dvx by dt, which is given by, you can take this q common here. So q E naught minus B naught Vz by M. Similarly, what is Ay here? Ay bar is given by, sorry, this is along z-axis only. So A bar along z-axis, or z-axis I am writing right here, z-axis is given by dvz by dt. Here this is equal to q by m into vx b naught along k cap. This is along I cap. If you consider this equation, differentiate this once again with respect to time. Differentiate with respect to time. So you differentiate this one, you will get d square vx by dt square is equal, q by m is a constant, differentiating with respect to time, e dot is a constant, differentiation of constant is 0, so this is 0 minus b naught vz, so b naught is constant, differentiate vz with respect to time, this will become dvz by dt along I cap. So this is the differential equation. So you can write this as d square vx by dt square is equal q by m minus b naught. What is this dvz by dt? You can see this dvz by dt. So I can substitute this value here. Q by m vx b naught I cap. So you can write this as d square vx by dt square is equal, you can see b naught q m whole square, but negative is there, into vx. You can write this as d square vx by dt square plus b naught q by m whole square vx will become 0. We know that in any simple harmonic motion, a is equal to minus omega square x. So here x is the variable which is in simple harmonic motion. But you can see here, just to compare this one with this one, here this can be written as dv square by d square v by dt is equal to minus omega square x also. So this is in the same form. Here we are differentiating, second differentiation of x only. If you differentiate x with respect to time, you will get velocity. Second differentiation of x is equal to acceleration. So here x is the variable. Here you can see d square vx by dt square plus something into vx. Here we have vx, here we have vx. But in that simple motion you have here x and x. So here x varies with the time, but here vx is in simple harmonic motion. So Vs increases and decreases with respect to time. So how can write this Vx? And if you compare this one, you can say this is omega square, this is also minus omega square. If you bring this one, you can write plus also, which is equal to 0. So from this we can write omega is equal to b naught q by m. That means any equation, any quantity is in simple harmonic motion, the expression is x is equal to a sin omega t. Here also you can write for any expression Vx is equal to a sin omega t. So Vx is given because Vx is in a simple motion from this equation. So a into sin omega, already we got it, b naught q by m. So this is b naught q by m into t. To set this one, ax is given by dvx by dt, which is equal to a. If you differentiate this one, a omega cos omega t. Now, in both cases, if you take this vx as well as ax, if t is equal to 0, vx is equal to 0, even ax will be a omega t. But in this case, let us say there is no velocity along x-axis. What is the velocity along z-axis? That is also 0. Why? Because magnetic force will act on the charged particle only if the charge has some velocity. Initial velocity of this one is 0 because here it is released from rest. Initial velocity of x-axis along x-axis 0. At this case, Vz is also equal to 0. Now, how to find the velocity along z-axis here? The velocity along z-axis is given by, if you know the velocity along x-axis, now we can write Az is equal to dvz by dt. Az is equal to, here we have dvz by dt, dvz by dt. Now you can compare these two. So this is the dvz by dt. I am going to write this as q by m Vx b naught. This is the acceleration along z-axis. But just now we got one expression q by m Vx b naught. This is Vx here. So you can substitute this value. So Az here is given by q by m Vx is equal to a sin omega t. A sin omega t into b naught. So q by m, what is this A? The maximum velocity here, because this is the component of this equation of velocity. What is the maximum velocity? And omega value already we found it, b naught q by m. So let me substitute this one, A sin b naught q by m into t into b naught. Now let me find out this maximum velocity of this component. We know that the acceleration along x-axis is given by dvx by dt is equal to a sin omega t, which is equal to the force acting along x-axis by m. So force is along x-axis only because of the electric force E naught q by m only here. So this is the acceleration along x-axis due to this charged particle. So this is E naught q by m. A into omega is equal to b naught q by m. So this is b naught q by m cos omega t is equal to E naught q by m. You can cancel this q by m, and as we are finding the maximum value, this must be equal to 1. Cos maximal is 1. A b naught is equal to E naught. So A is equal to E naught by b naught. So you can write q by m. A is equal to, this b naught will come down. This is E naught by b naught sin b naught q by m into t into b naught. You can cancel this b naught and b naught here. You can write E naught q by m sin b naught q by m t. So this is the acceleration along z-axis. But I need to find out the velocity along z-axis. Here I got velocity along x-axis. So this Az is given by dvz by dt is equal E naught q by m sin b naught q by mt. Remember, the velocity along z-axis depends on electric field as well as magnetic field. Now this dvz is equal to this dt can be written here. This is dt, and integrating on both sides you will get velocity along z-axis is equal to, bring the constants outside. The electric field strength is constant, charge q, mass m constant, integral of sin b naught q by m into t dt. This can be written as E naught q by m. Integral of sin theta will be minus cos theta. So minus of cos b naught q by mt by omega with limits 0 to t. So the velocity along z-axis is given by, you can bring this one outside, E naught q by m omega. If you substitute t first, you will get t only, and minus of cos 0 will be 1. So this will become 1 minus cos omega t, or b naught q by m into t. So this is the equation along z-axis. Here equation along x-axis is an omega t. Equation on z-axis is equal to velocity along z-axis is equal to E naught q by m1, 1 minus cos omega t. If you see these two equations, this is equation 1 and this is equation 2, and even if you take this angular velocity omega b naught q by m, these are all the equations that resembles a cycloid. So what is a cycloid? That means the path of the charged particle in this case will be cycloid. Cycloid is the path generated by a point on the circumference of a wheel moving on a straight path. Now for example, if you take one wheel here, this is a point on this wheel. If this wheel is moving along this straight path, this is the point. I am taking this, considering this point. Now in the second position, when the wheel comes to this position, the point will reach here, and the wheel comes to this position, point will come down. When the wheel comes to this position, point will reach here, and the wheel comes to this position, the point will reach here. So you can join these points. So this is called cycloid. Slowly, so this is the path followed by the charged particle in this case. So here how to represent this path? Initially, as it said, the initial velocity is 0 because it is from rest. This is the position of this one. Slowly the helical path, cycloid path will start here. So it will move in this direction, and then it will become 0. Why? Because velocity along x-axis is represented by a sin omega t. When t is equal to 0, this will be 0. Velocity along x-axis is 0. If t is maximum, this will be maximum. When t once again 0, or if this value becomes 180, this will become 0. So this is a sine curve here. But what about the z component here? So here if t is equal to 0, so cos 0 is equal to 1. 1 minus 1 will be 0. Vz will become 0. After that, now if this value equal to 90, 1 minus cos 90 will be 0. So this is 1, and it will have maximum velocity along z-axis. So after that it will become 0 again, and these two velocities will become 0, and it will repeat the same path here. So like this it will move in a cycloidal path. So whenever the fields are perpendicular to each other, it follows a cycloid path. It will never comes to this position. Why? Because at this point both velocities will become 0, and they will repeat the same path, and they will repeat like this. So this is called cycloid, which is generated by the point on a circumference of wheel moving on a straight path. When velocity of charged particle perpendicular to electric field as well as perpendicular to magnetic field, if all three are perpendicular to each other, already we discussed this case previously. Now we will apply this concept in different devices. In first, the velocity selector. So in this, a uniform magnetic field as well as a uniform electric field. So this is a positively charged plate. This is a negatively charged plate. In this, if a charged particle is allowed with some velocity v naught, mass m, then what happens? First, as it is having some velocity, this is the magnetic field, this is the charge. This charged particle will experience a force in this direction. This is the magnetic force. Similarly, here electric field is acting from positive to negative plate. So positive charge always moves in the direction of the electric field. This is the electric field. Now, if these two are equal, if the electric force is equal to magnetic force, now this charged particle will move along this path. So this is possible only if the magnetic force is equal to electric force. Magnetic force BQV, electric force EQ. So velocity of the charged particle is given by E by B. So if you want to increase the velocity of this one by increasing these values, by increasing this ratio, so either by increasing this one or this one, by adjusting the strength of the magnetic field, electric field, we can get charged particles of desired velocity or required velocity. So velocity selector is a device which is using the crossed electric and magnetic fields, crossed electric field and magnetic field. So here we will get charged particles of desired velocity. This is the first application of this principle. In the second application, if you take that J.J. Thomson experiment to find out to determine specific charge, that is E by M. So in this case, this is the magnetic field which is acting along a negative z-axis, and this is the electric field. This is the electric field, similar to the same diagram here. Now here in this device, a cathode will be arranged here. This is the cathode, and which is connected to a battery like this, and this is the slit here. Between these two, a potential V is applied. A charged electrons are allowed to pass through this one. When it comes from here to here, the work done on the charge is VQ, that is potential difference between these two and the charge G, which is equal to half mv square. So 2ve by m is equal to v square, or v square is equal to 2vm. So velocity of the charge when it comes to this point is equal to root over 2vem. This is equation 1. Now when it is having this much velocity here, now it is allowed to pass through this one. Similar to this one, magnetic force will act in the upward direction, electric force will act in downward direction. If these two forces are equal and opposite, net force will become 0, and the charged particles move with the same velocity and comes out in this position. So here what we can write, as it is experiencing equal amount of magnetic and electric forces, I can write F magnetic is equal to F electric, which is gone by BeV is equal to EE, charge get cancelled, V is equal to E by B. This is the velocity. Here I got velocity by using this work energy theorem. Here I got this one by using the concept of the cross electric and magnetic fields. These two are equal, so we can write 2VE by M under root is equal to E by B. Squaring on both sides, 2VE by M is equal to E square by B square. This E by M is given by E square by 2VB square. So this E by M is called a specific charge of electron. Without knowing the charge of electron as well as mass of electron, J.J. Thomson, after inventing this electron, he found this value, that specific charge, and he got this value around 1.755 into 10 power 11 coulombs per kg. This is the value obtained by J.J. Thomson by using the concept of this crossed electric and magnetic fields in his experiment. Spectrometer. So it is a device used to measure mass of an atom or charged particles like electron, proton, and so on. So in this case, if you consider a charged particle here which is entering into this one, so when it is entering into this one, here we can see two different magnetic fields. One is represented in red color, whose magnetic field is B, and one more in black color, which is B naught. So when it enters into this field, see here field is acting in this direction, and it will experience a magnetic, this one, direction of this one, and this is the direction of the magnetic force. So generally magnetic force will act like this, but as there is a electric field from left to right, it will experience a electric force in this direction. If these two are equal and opposite, so F electric is equal to F magnetic initially. So what is the electric force here? This is EQ, which is equal to BQV, cancel. Velocity is equal to E by B. So this is the velocity with which it enters into the second magnetic field. Once it enters into the second magnetic field, what happens here? So here, as it is having velocity in this direction, after this there is no electric field. So due to this is the field, magnetic field, charge is moving like this, and it will move in this direction. So this is the circular path described by that one. Let us say radius of this one is R. So what is R here? This radius is given by mass of this one into velocity with which enters into this field here V. Already we found this value by B naught into Q. So we can write, we can replace this velocity with E by B. Radius is equal to m by b naught q into E by B. So from this we can write the mass of this charged particle m is given by b into b naught into qr by E. So if you know the induction, magnetic induction here, this is B, the magnetic field induction here B naught, charge that is entering into this one Q, radius discover this one, we can measure this one, or under the electric field we can find the mass without using any devices. That means by using balance it is not possible to measure the mass of very small particles, but by using this concept we can measure the mass of atom, mass of proton, mass of electron, for all charged particles we can use this concept to measure this mass. Hall effect. What is this Hall effect? You take a metallic strip of width d in which current is flowing from top to bottom. We know that the direction of the flow of electrons is always opposite to the direction of flow of current. So as the current is coming down, we can say that the electrons inside this one will travel in the vertically upward direction. So this is the direction of motion of these electrons, which are drifting with a velocity Vd. While drifting, what happens? Now let me apply the Fleming's left hand rule here. This is the field which is acting into this one, and the charge is, of course, charge will move in this direction if it is positive. But here electron is a negative charge particle, so we have to keep it like this. Negative charge is moving up, that means positive charge is moving down. Due to this, electron will experience a force in the rightward direction. So the electron will travel in this direction. So it will not travel in a straight line. Due to this velocity, it will move in this direction. Due to this, electrons will be accumulated on right side of this strip. Due to this, an equal amount of positive charge will be induced on the left side of the strip here. Due to this, as there is a positive and negative charge separated by some distance, one electric field will be developed here between the two edges of this metallic strip. Negative charge, positive charge moves in the direction of the electric field. Negative charge will move right to opposite direction of the electric field. Due to this, this electron will experience a force in this direction. So this is the magnetic force. This is the electric force. Slowly electrons will try to move in this direction. So the accumulation of positive charges and negative charges will nullify this one. So due to this, this will also nullify as the electrons are moving this one positive charge. So now it will move in this direction with a velocity Vd. So what is this Vd? The Vd is given by BQ Vd is equal to EQ or EE here. So the drift velocity is given by E by B. This is equation 1. The drift velocity of electron inside the metal strip is given by E by B. Now, we know that the drift velocity can also be given as I by NEA, which is equal to E by B. Now, what is this electric field between these two edges of this strip? We know that the potential difference between these two, let us say this, call it as V, and this V is also called Hall potential. Hall potential is the potential difference between the two edges of the metallic strip. So this is V. So from this we know E is equal to V by D, and in place of this E we can write V by dB. Here N is the number of electrons this strip per unit volume. So if you compare these two equations, N is given by current into width of the strip into magnetic field applied by electric charge into area of cross section of this metallic strip into this Hall potential. By using this one, we can find the free electron density. Remember students, in current density we used this formula Vd is equal to I by NGA, where N is equal to nearly 10 power 28 per meter cube. These are the number of electrons per meter cube. So we cannot determine this manually. We have to use this concept. By using this velocity selector, the principle of cross electric and magnetic fields, we can determine the number of electrons per unit volume. We call it as free electron density. So once you find this one, and we can find whether positive charge is moving in this direction or negative charge is moving in direction. If it is a negative charge, then it will experience electric force here, this magnetic force in this direction, electric force in this direction. When these two are equal, it would have traveled along this path with the drift velocity Vd. So the Hall effect is used to find the free electron density in a metallic conductor, and also the nature of the electrons or charge carriers. Nature of charge carriers, that is whether they are positive or negative also. Of this concept is cyclotron. Here cyclotron consists of two Ds, two metallic boxes known as D1 and D2 connected to a AC source. So frequently, if the plate is maintained at positive potential, this will be negative, and within a fraction of second, and the polarities will change here. So why? Because we know AC source, the voltage changes from positive to negative frequently. In this case, let us say one charged particle is placed between the two Ds. Now, as it is a positively charged particle, charge Q, mass M, field is magnetic field is acting inwards. So this is the direction of this motion. So it will experience a force here. So it moves in a circular path of radius or gradually. So as the polarities changes, when it comes to this one, and this will become negative, so it will be pushed in this direction, and once again it will continue, and gradually the radius increases. But what is the radius of this one in the magnetic field? Radius is given by mv by bq. So what is the time period here? This is also given by 2pm by bq. And what is the angular velocity here? Omega is equal to bq by m. So these are the different forms that already discussed in a previous topic. And a charged particle enters into a magnetic field perpendicular to it. Now, what is the kinetic energy of this charged particle that is moving in this one? This is given by half mv square. V is equal to b square by m. V is equal to b square q square r square by 2m. So this is the kinetic energy. So by using this, we can find out the frequency of rotation of this charged particle in this one is given by bq by 2 pi m. That means it does not depend upon the velocity. So frequency directly proportional to v power 0. So this is the working principle of this one. The frequency of this AC source must be such that it does not depend upon the velocity of the charged particle, and the frequency of rotation also equal to this frequency. So they are in resonance. So this is the concept that we are using here.